G'day guys, and welcome back to Pete the Surferoo. We're here with Luke and Aisha, one of Australia's largest reptile parks. Luke, how are you, mate?
Morning, Pete. Thanks for coming and visiting the reptiles.
No worries, mate. Aisha, hello, how are you?
Good.
Now, we're going to wander inside, mate, and check out a large variety of reptiles. Now, just briefly, mate, what are we looking at seeing here today?
We've got over 60 different species of native Australian reptile. We've actually got the deadly dozen, so 12 of the world's most venomous snakes.
Mate, sounds good. Now, before we go into, can we just go back into the history? When did you first get into reptiles, mate?
Well, as far back as I can remember, I was chasing lizards and frogs and stuff around, but at the age of 5, I got my first reptile license and started collecting snakes.
Mate, that is incredible. Mate, let's go inside and check out some of these snakes, and lots more questions coming your way. Let's go, guys. Okay, guys, we're here inside the reptile park. Lots to see. Now, let's start with the world's most deadliest snakes. Luke, number one.
Number one is the one right behind us here, the inland taipan, also called a fierce snake. So drop for drop, it's more toxic than any other snake on the planet. But funnily enough, has never ever caused one single death that we know of so far. So the main reason, he's in an isolated area and he's very shy and secretive. Like most snakes, they will try and get out of our way if we give them the chance. But this one doesn't come in contact with people very often at all.
Mate, now, where is this snake found?
Well, you find him on the border of Northern Territory, New South Wales and also South Australia. So he is right inland, out in the black soil country. So like the picture back there, he lives in the deep cracking black soil in far remote Australia.
Now, have we had any major bites with these snakes?
The only people ever been recorded to have been bitten were snake catchers, and they knew what to do. They knew the first aid which saved their life.
Mate, well, it's great news that they're not in our big cities.
Yes, that's definitely right.
Now, mate, let's move on to number two.
So number two over here is the eastern brown snake, and that's the most commonly encountered snake here in Australia. They do live around us, so they're responsible for the most amount of deaths in Australia each year.
Okay, Luke, number three for the snakes.
Number three in the world is the coastal taipan. He's found around the coastline up in the Northern Territory and extends the whole way down the Queensland coast, down to around Grafton in New South Wales.
Now, do they tend to wander into backyards of houses, or are they just found out in the bush?
Well, he's quite an alert snake, and he'll usually try and avoid confrontation. He lives more in a rural urban fringe, so sort of in the outskirts of populated areas, not so much in big, large CBDs.
And attacks with these guys?
There has been a number of recorded deaths from the coastal taipan. A bite from one, it definitely means an extreme medical emergency.
Mate, now later on we'll go into treatment of a bite snake, but let's go on to number four.
Number four is the tiger snake. Now, he struck fear into the hearts of the early settlers because he's found around the southeastern part of Australia where we first colonised. So he did cause a lot of deaths and a lot of fear back in the early days. Since the introduction of anti-venom, the number of deaths has definitely curved back down again.
Now, an easy way to distinguish a tiger snake, is it like the word tiger, so is he striped?
No, not all tiger snakes will have stripes. Some can come in a jet black colour. Some can have all different colour banding. They're actually found all throughout the Bass Strait and different islands around Tasmania. And there's also another isolated population over in southwestern Australia.
Now, just lengthwise, what's the average size? Because a lot of people do mistake sometimes pythons for these sort of snakes, and they pick them up and bang.
Well, the average length for a tiger snake would probably be around 1.5 meters, but they can get up to around 2.5 meters long.
That's big. Well, now, number five now.
Number five is the death adder. He's found right over mainland Australia. He'll inhabit most environments, deserts, rainforests, and also come in a variation of different colours too. But he doesn't really like to live around backyards. He likes to live in undisturbed bushland. So it's not really one you're going to find coming into your property unless you do live out in the country.
Now, if we do go out fossicking or go in the rainforest, like Springbrook on the Gold Coast here, can we find them out there?
Yes, you will. You'll find a lot of these top 12 most venomous snakes around the Gold Coast. Now, a lot of the time, they only come out at night. So just be a little bit extra careful if you're walking around after dark. They usually come out just after the sun goes down.
Okay, moving up the ladder, number 6.
Number 6 is the western brown snake. Now, he doesn't occur here on the east coast of Australia. He's found quite widespread through central Australia over to the west coast. Now, over around Perth and WA and places over on the western side of Australia, he has caused many deaths.
And up the ladder to number 7.
Number 7 is the copperhead. There's a few different species of copperhead. The largest one being the lowlands copperhead, which is found around Melbourne area. So if you live in Melbourne, guys, you will get lots of copperheads. So he extends up to New South Wales.
Now, what's the usual size for one of these guys, or both the guys?
Usually a metre long individual is average size for an adult, but they can get a fair bit bigger. They can get up to about 1.70 m. Most snakes will eat a variety of different food, including mammals, so they'll also eat frogs and birds. A lot of reptiles will actually eat other reptiles. Yeah, so they can feed off each other. They might even eat their own kind.
That's amazing.
And the king browns, also called mulga snakes. Okay, they're found over most of Australia. They like to live where it's really hot and dry, but you actually don't get these on the Gold Coast. Now they can actually grow right up to a whopping 3 metres long. Okay, so like we said, he's the largest and heaviest venomous snake we have here in our country. Okay, now also one thing you'll notice with him, in his big huge head, that's his massive venom glands. Now most snakes, will only inject around 2 or 3 mils of venom. This one here is different if he bites. He holds on, he doesn't let go. Okay, he'll inject up to 16 mils. So he can inject more venom than any other snake on the planet.
Okay, number 9.
Number 9 is the Stevens banded snake, which is found around here on the Gold Coast. He lives in more tropical environments, and he's a tree climber. So, which is funny enough that venomous snakes can climb trees.
I think I'd stay away from the guy. Now, his poison is pretty bad?
Yes, it is very toxic. Very complex venom. Can have some very bad adverse effects.
And we have antidote for this fella?
Yes, we do. Yeah, we have anti-venom for all Australian snakes. As long as you apply the correct first aid and get to hospital in time, your chance of death from a snake is very low.
Wow. Okay, number 10.
Number 10, we've got the rough-scaled snake. Now, rough-scaled snakes are also very common here in southeast Queensland. They're a frog eater, so they'll usually live around the riparian zone. That's just a little around the water's edge in the vicinity of permanent creeks or dams. Okay, he's also another night-active snake, so he'll come out after dark, particularly when it's raining, to look to feed off frogs.
And the size of this one?
He's not a real big snake. He'll only get to about 1 metre long. Usually about 80 centimetres is a very big individual. So the next snake we're getting out here, guys, is number 5 in the world. Okay, now if you got bitten by him, back in the old days, there was no anti-venom available. Back then it was certain death. So they've called him, he's the death adder. Now the death adders, they're very short and fat. Okay, they don't actually grow much bigger than this bloke right here. But don't let his size fool you, he's got a very powerful venom. More venomous than the king cobra, the black mamba, and the rattlesnake combined. Okay, he outranks them by far. Okay, now we use 2 hooks for the death adder, the reason being he's the world's fastest striking snake, this one. He strikes out at over 300 kilometres an hour. Okay, in the wild they're very hidden and they're camouflaged. Often people tread on them by mistake. So doing bushwalking, guys, especially after dark, because that's when he comes out, he's nocturnal. Okay, make sure you've got enclosed shoes when you're walking around your campsite. Doing bushwalking, have some good protective footwear on, because our thongs won't do you much good with this one. So we're going to move up the ladder, guys, to number 2 in the world. Okay, now if you encounter a snake out there, it's more than likely going to be this one here. It's the most commonly encountered snake in Australia, is our eastern or common brown. Okay, they're found around all major cities. You'll find them around Brisbane and Melbourne, Adelaide, even Canberra and Sydney. Okay, you get lots of these coming into populated areas, around backyards, We're now getting a lot of these down along our Gold Coast beaches. These are responsible for more bites and deaths each year than any species of Australian snake. Okay, now they can be very fast and accurate, so definitely one you want to stay a safe distance away from. Okay, they do vary in colour. They can come very dark, almost black like this specimen here. Now brown snakes, guys, can even have stripes. So not all brown snakes are brown, and as we mentioned, not all tiger snakes have stripes. So you're best to treat all snakes you see as venomous, just to be safe. Okay, if you leave them alone, okay, they'll do the same thing for you. So you might have seen us guys travelling around Australia, as we do, go at all the major events teaching vital awareness. This here, snakebite treatment, is the most important thing that we're able to teach the public. Okay, now so we're opened every weekend here at Carrara Markets, and we're actually now going to launch 7 days, and we'd like to teach all the public must know this snakebite first aid. Okay, it's a very simple and effective method. Okay, so we're just going to pretend he has been bitten somewhere along the arm. Now it doesn't matter where you're bitten. You want to start this pressure bandage from the bottom and go to the top, keeping it like you would a sprained wrist. It's got to be firm but comfortable. Okay, now what will actually happen, the pressure will squeeze down and shut off the capillaries, flatten them down, so that venom can no longer travel. Okay, instead of getting around half an hour to live, a bandage applied, okay, we'll give you up around 24 hours. It'll give you the time you need to get to hospital and have that anti-venom. Okay, now there is anti-venom at every hospital now. Okay, you just want to give yourself that time to get there by putting pressure on the limb and then immobilising it. It's important, once the arm is bandaged, to put it into a sling, okay, and lay nice and still. Okay, now if the leg was bitten, once you've bandaged up that leg, what you need to do is grab a rigid object, a tree branch or a golf club, or just roll up a newspaper and just tie it to your leg. Okay, that'll keep that leg nice and straight. Okay, if you do this within 3 minutes, it is very, very effective. It has saved many lives so far. One thing that everyone died from snakebite last year, we had 6 deaths recorded last year. They had one thing in common: they didn't have that little simple bandage with them. So it's something everyone should carry in the glove box of your car, okay, just to be safe. Okay, it's a good idea to always take them out camping, fishing, or stick one in your golf bag. Now the last thing we'll show you is don't wash the bite area. At hospital, they peel it back and take a little swab. They can actually identify the venom left on your skin and find out what snake bit you, so what anti-venom to treat you with. So it's no longer like the old days where we had to catch the snake and take it to hospital. So yeah, don't turn up to the hospital with the offending snake, guys. Okay, they can actually identify it when you get there.
Okay, Mr. Luke, hit it. Let's do this snake.
This one here, guys, is Cody, our beautiful black-headed python. They're one of the
Wow.
friendliest snakes of all. We take them to kindies and schools and stuff, so little kids can hold him. So he's very well trained. You don't have to worry, Pete. We wouldn't put a bitey snake on you. So all you have to do to hold him is keep your hands flat and still.
Okay.
He just wants us to be supported underneath
No
there.
worries.
How's that feel? They feel incredible, their skin. Just really
Wow,
soft.
really amazing stuff. Now these animals are known to constrict, eh?
Yeah, if they want to kill something, what they do is they get it right up and around their
Okay.
neck, start
Holy
to squeeze.
mollies.
But these
Wow.
ones won't. They're very, very well trained. I've had this
Gee.
one for 16 years, and I've held him every day of his life.
That's
I
amazing.
even put him on little kids.
Okay, guys, well, I hope you enjoyed that experience and learned a lot too. Luke, Ash, thanks a lot for having us down here at the reptile park, and it was a great experience with the python as well and all those reptiles.
Thanks, Pete. Thanks for coming along.
No worries. Until next time with some more stuff from here in Australia on the Gold Coast, it's Pete the Surferoo signing off here now. Whoa.